So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Now, according to multiple reports, the iPhone 12 mini's production has been halted, has been stopped, at least meaning creating more of them to go on sale, as this phone has been reported to be the least selling of the iPhone 12 lineup. Now, yes, me and multiple other YouTubers, influencers, and people on the platform have definitely, and across the internet, have definitely hyped this up before it did come out, because it's been forever since Apple launched a one-handed iPhone, and then they went ahead and did that, and consumers responded with, I don't really want the smaller screen. So that's what, at least what we're seeing so far. Now, when I say that, keep in mind, I'm coming from the perspective of, you know, massive sales. Like, iPhone 12 does millions and millions of sales, and for the iPhone 12 mini, it actually sells more units than, you know, some small brands will ever dream to sell. But in comparison to Apple's other iPhones, this one is definitely falling behind in the sales department. So we might not see this after the rumored 13 mini. That might be the last of this mini lineup, at least for the smaller, you know, phone right here, if it doesn't start to pick up in sales. But I've analyzed why I think this might be the case for this one-handed dream phone right here. The first reason I feel that this phone has definitely not sold as well as some of the other iPhones, at least if these reports are true, is that the other bigger iPhones are not that far away in the price point. That includes, you know, the iPhone 12, which is not much more. It's 150 or so more, and then you could just get a much bigger screen. And then you have even the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max, which became used phones. Not everybody's gonna go to the Apple Store and buy a brand new phone. You could have got those cheaper when the 12s did launch, and they were bigger phones than this right here. So definitely, I feel like Apple should have made some more sacrifices to get this phone down in the price point. I was actually expecting a single camera when the mini first was starting to circulate around. I thought it was going to be like the iPhone SE, the original one, where it was a smaller screen and it was like $499. I think that would have been definitely a better seller than this one, as they went more for that premium, you know, small phone, and that definitely jacked the price up to around over $700 with taxes. Some configurations are going to cost you over $800, and a lot of people cannot justify that for a smaller phone like this, especially when you take a look in the store and you see the bigger phones for not that much more. It just seems like bigger is better psychologically. Reason number two is that I think the mainstream is just used to bigger devices, and there's no going back once you get used to a bigger device. The iPhone 12 mini definitely is a much smaller device than even the iPhone 11 right here, and once people get used to these bigger phones, it's kind of hard for people to go back to this as their main device. There are a niche crowd, we'll talk about that later. If you're the person who's like, nope, I've been waiting forever for the iPhone 12 mini, you're definitely in the niche crowd that Apple was targeting here with this device right here. But definitely, I think once, because most of the market went to a larger, everyone wants a larger phone these days, it's kind of hard to get top sales on this iPhone 12 mini right here. Number three is the battery life. The battery life, I can attest to this. My fiance actually had the 12 mini. She's actually previously went back to her iPhone 11 Pro just because she was tired of the battery life. The battery life on the 12 mini couldn't get her the type of battery life she was looking for. She was constantly hitting that charger around 6 p.m. because she's a heavy user. So definitely, you know, not the best battery life. Yes, it's gonna get through a day, and there's gonna be iPhone 12 mini users that are gonna get in this comment section and say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. The iPhone 12 mini gets through the day easily. It just depends on how you're using it. Well, you are true in some sense, but if you're gonna sit there and act like this is some boss in battery life, you better get out of here with that, because this is no boss at all and no battery life. Yeah, if you're managing your use, you're tweaking some settings, and you're not a power user, you're gonna get through the day. But, you know, if you're going to use this phone, you're going to be on social media, you're going to be using the camera all day, this is not going to be a strong performer in the battery life. It just isn't. You might want to get yourself a battery case or a battery pack. My fourth reason is this phone, I don't think, generated enough media attention. So it just didn't get covered as much as the other devices. It was covered initially when it first came out, but you don't see it advertised a lot. You don't see it, you know, put out in a lot of videos, a lot of articles, more than you see the 12 Pro Max, for example, even the 12 Pro doesn't get as much attention either, but I just don't feel like it got enough media attention for it to be something that's in the minds of a lot of people. I tried to push this phone a lot because I think it's great for people who want a one thumb, one-handed experience. However, I don't think it got collectively enough attention, and for that reason, it could have attributed to the sales being a little bit lower. Number 5 is the launch date was a little bit late. So when the iPhone 12s came out, the regular iPhone 12s, those came out before the 12 Pro Max and the 12 mini. The 12 Pro also came out before those devices, so it was 12 and 12 Pro, and that delayed the 12 mini. So for people who were waiting for that, they might have just went and bought a 12 because they just didn't want to wait any longer. So that could have took some sales away as well. It probably was a little bit, just not much, but still that delay, even that delay costs, I think, Apple a little bit as well, because there was a surge in COVID-19 happening at that time. So it got even worse in those months. So as the months carried on, people were less and less thinking about, phones. So the earlier they would have got it out, I think it would have been a little bit better. Number 6, small phones are so niche. This is what I was talking about, the niche users. They're so niche right now that even though Apple had its run in this segment when they were basically boss statusing sales with the iPhone SE and the iPhone 5, this is just not something I feel like everyone craves anymore. It's a selective group of people that are like, I'm never going to those big phones. I'm gonna be sticking with my small SE until it dies, and then I'll get a 12 mini and I'll keep that until it dies. You could be saying that all day, but again, as a whole, the market as a whole, this one right here definitely seems to be quite niche. I mean, I don't see a lot of people saying I want that 12 mini. There's a niche group though that are absolutely obsessed with this type of device, and I probably would fall in there. I definitely feel like I should get a red one before they stop selling these, because I wanted the red one as well. But and I hope they bring the 13 mini. It'll probably be the last of these tinier phones, but still, this seems to be a market that's not super big anymore, at least right now. And you kind of think about why. If you look at the smartphone, what do we do on the smartphone these days? The bigger the screen, the better to run these applications, because they're becoming more robust how we use our phones. We watch a lot of media rich content like YouTube, Netflix, and stuff like that, and we read a lot of content on our phone now. Back in the day, it was more like a tool. Now it's like basically running most of our lives. So you want a bigger screen to do that, and this is just a little bit too small sometimes for at least most people. And remember that not everybody's gonna have multiple phones. Like, this is a YouTube channel on tech, so we have multiple phones here, but regular everyday consumers are just they're gonna have one phone. And if this is their only phone, what if they don't have a laptop or a tablet? They have a choice between this or a bigger phone. It's the only screen that's dominating their everyday. They're probably going to go with the bigger one. Number 7 is the rest of the 12 lineup. That includes the 12 Pro Max, that includes the iPhone 12 Pro, that includes the 12. The rest of the lineup has probably hindered sales as well, because they're all in the store at the same time. They're all on the same table. When you're walking around, you see all similar 12s and you're like, yeah, I don't want that little tiny one, so I just think the rest of the 12 lineup, especially the regular 12, which is the same phone, a little bit bigger, same colors, a little bit more money, but not too much more money, is probably definitely hurting the sales of this guy right here. So I actually think that Apple would have been better to have this phone kind of maybe be called the SE, cut it. See, the 2020 SE to me wasn't the true SE. I feel like they should have just took this phone and kind of made some cuts, like just give us the really good 12 megapixel camera here. It's okay if we get rid of the ultra wide, if we get that price down. Maybe I think some people wouldn't have minded the LCD, the one that's like on the iPhone 11. You bring it here to the mini and then you charge like $449 or like $499 and forget about that SE 2020. Maybe this would have been a little bit better seller, but putting it in that premium line against the 12, it's just a harder sell, I feel like. And my 8th reason is the iPhone 11. Not only the iPhone 11 here, but the Apple iPhone XR has definitely hurt the sales of this guy. These phones are still available in Apple stores, and take a look at the size difference. Again, we're talking about size again because this is one of the main reasons I feel like this has been, cut the production, and possibly we're not going to see it for very much longer. We may see a 13 mini, but yeah, these guys right here. And why do I put these guys in the list? Because they're cheaper than the iPhone 12 mini. Both of them are cheaper than the iPhone 12 mini. And take a look. Some people are going to feel like I'm getting more phone with these two. You are getting better battery life, and the 11 really is giving you a very similar camera, better battery life, bigger screen, that's a tough one to pick the 12 mini over. Even though the 12 mini has a better processor, a better display, you know, that's still, those things don't seem to matter because people know how optimized and how well Apple iPhones run. So I think the XR and the iPhone 11 have definitely stole some of the sales away from the little guy right here. Bad timing during the pandemic. Again, I said this earlier a little bit, but you know, launching again in that November timeframe really just pushed this, you know, I think a little bit too far. And even though it was okay, it was right before the holiday season, definitely, you know, a little bit earlier might have boosted sales a little bit. And the number 10, I don't know if you remember this, but the iPhone 12 mini actually had touchscreen issues at launch. So that was messy. A lot of people returned their iPhone 12 minis. That could have been in the tune of hundreds of thousands. We don't know exactly, but I've seen a lot of comments of people saying, I'm getting rid of my 12 mini. I can't even touch the screen. It's ridiculous. So a lot of people returned their 12 mini immediately because of that messy launch with the touchscreen bug. That was ridiculous. That's usually not up to Apple's standard. So that's basically 10 reasons why the iPhone 12 mini, I feel like, doesn't have the best sales compared to the other lineup. And you know, it's sad because this was a phone that we've been waiting for forever. And if these rumors are true, which they may just be true, we might only see the 13 mini because it was already kind of in production and in development. And if we don't see that, that would be even more sad. But definitely, if you're into the 12 mini, if you're into the smaller iPhone lineup, you might want to hop on it and get it as soon as possible because this might not be something that's sticking around forever here. I think the mini line might stay around, but they might increase the size a little bit to like maybe 5.8 inches, do something that'll maybe just get it more sales. But I'm not sure if this smaller, tinier phone will stay around. So if you're really into this, you might now or even after the 13 mini may launch might be the time to scoop one of these up. And none of this in this video is to say I don't think this is a great phone. I love this phone. You've heard me talk about it before. It became my main phone for quite a while actually as well. I really just love how it's so premium. It has all the premium features, but again, maybe the price needs to come down. Thumbs up if you found the video helpful, entertaining, informing, and let me know your thoughts on the iPhone 12 mini. Did you pick one up? If you did, share your experience down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well and peace.